What not to text a man. In this video, I'm gonna give you examples of what you should never text a guy. Unless you wanna scare him away for good, in which case, by all means, text away. It's Sabrina, your personal love advisor from A New Mode, the channel where we show you how love actually works. So I have a few videos on what to text a guy, and you should check those out as well. But for this video, I decided to do the reverse and tell you things that you should never text a guy. Look, we all have good intentions. The problem is some of those good intentions can get lost in translation, especially over text. And you may end up coming across in a way that just isn't who you are. You may end up coming across a little bit crazy, a little bit too needy, a little possessive, without meaning to. And then all of a sudden, this guy who seemed super into you at first is acting a little cold, a little distant, and seems to be losing interest. To prevent that from happening, I'm gonna share the biggest man-repelling text messages, so make sure you watch this video all the way until the end. Real quick, if you like this video and find it helpful, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell to turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of our relationship content. And speaking of relationship content, make sure to get on the A New Mode newsletter. That is where Eric and I deliver our best relationship content straight into your inbox every day. You can sign up at anewmode.com/subscribe. The link is down below. And follow me on Instagram at A New Mode so we could be friends on there. Okay, let's get into it. These are the texts you should never send a guy. Number one, endless paragraphs. Guys don't need to hear every minute detail of your day. Maybe that's how you communicate with your girlfriends and that's how you bond with your girlfriends, but guys just don't care. He doesn't need to know every move, every play-by-play, exactly what you had for lunch, exactly what you did, like step by step by step by step. Women are very detail-oriented, so a woman will include all the details, but men just aren't, and he doesn't care, and it's just too much. And it's also best to leave a little bit of mystery, leave a little bit for in person, leave something to talk about in person. Also, those texts are just gonna be annoying to him. Like, he's gonna read them and be like, okay, like, what's her point? What is she getting at here? You also don't need to fill him in on every single thing you're doing. Like, if you have a weekend planned away with your girlfriends, you don't need to give him the full step-by-step itinerary. Just say, going away with my girlfriends, can't wait, it's gonna be a blast. And let him fill in the blanks. Again, like I said, a little bit of mystery can be a good thing. It can build intrigue. It can make him think about you more, make him wonder, make him more interested in you. And it also just makes you seem more interesting. It's not interesting when you just spell everything out for someone. It's interesting when you leave a little room for them to fill in the blanks. Also, watch how much you're saying versus what he's saying. Scroll through your texts and look, do you see big blocks of text where you're speaking punctuated by a sentence here and an LOL there? If you're doing all the talking, it's time to just scale back a little bit because it's just too much. It's just not appealing. Number two, the I'm bored/boring text. So these texts usually sound like this. Hey, what's up? What you doing? What's going on? These texts are basically saying, I have nothing going on in my life and I just need you to entertain me right now because I am bored and I'm pretty boring. I'm so boring, I couldn't come up with anything interesting to say right now. Nothing. This is all I got. Men typically like to communicate for a purpose. They don't like to go back and forth aimlessly. So when you're just texting him just for the sake of it, that's annoying to him. That's not fun, especially when you have nothing to say. So now you're texting him and putting the ball in his court, and now he needs to be the one to think of interesting things to say. Instead of the, hey, what's up? Text him an interesting question. Text him a story. Text him an idea. Text him an activity that you'd like to do. Basically, the rule is text something of value. I mean, look, sometimes the hey, what's up happens, but in general, especially in the early stages with a guy, when you're just getting to know him, try to avoid that. Number three, passive-aggressive texts. This happens when you're mad at him and instead of telling him, you convey it through your text messages. So maybe you respond with short answers like "K" or "Okay" or "Yeah," or even worse, you put a period at the end of whatever you say. I mean, is there anything more sinister than a period at the end of a text? It's like, whoa, like what did I do? Why are you so mad at me? Especially the worst, I think, is the "Okay, period." Ugh. So what either ends up happening is that he senses that you're mad and he just doesn't want to deal with it because most men, speaking in generalities here, not all men, are pretty averse to emotionally heavy, emotionally intense conversations. So when he senses that that's the direction this is heading in, he's just not going to want to deal with it. He's just going to put it off and want to deal with it another time. Or he's not going to pick up on your hints and he's just not going to know that you're angry, which is just going to make you angrier and it's just going to fuel the fire in you and it's just going to cause all these problems. So if you're mad at him, be direct. Tell him what you're upset about. And even better, wait till you're in person to do it or call him to talk about it. Just try to avoid that over text, especially if it's something that's a big deal to you. Number 4, the why aren't you answering my texts text. So you text him and a few hours go by and you haven't heard from him, so you follow up with, hey, are you there? Why aren't you answering me? Are you ignoring me? Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Hello? Dude, I can't believe you're ignoring me. I thought you were better than that. I thought you were a quality guy. I guess I was wrong, and I'm not. I don't think I need to explain to you why this is a bad look and why we want to avoid doing this. I get that you're mad, but you need to hold that anger in check because he might just be busy. Maybe his phone died. Maybe he's distracted. Maybe something came up at work. You don't know what's going on. And by coming at him and attacking him like this with this barrage of text messages, you just look crazy. You look needy, you look possessive, and that is a huge turnoff. If you text him and he doesn't respond to you, you don't need to keep reminding him that you exist. He knows you exist. He probably saw the text message and he probably will get back to you when he gets a chance. The best thing for you to do is to just focus your attention elsewhere. Just tell yourself, all right, he's probably busy. I'm sure I'll hear from him. And that's fine, that's that. And if I don't hear from him, it means that he probably doesn't like me, and that's fine. That's not a loss. I don't want to be with a guy who doesn't like me anyway, so it's fine. It's a win-win. There's no loss here. Number 5, the what are we text. Men in general don't like having the what are we conversation, and they especially don't want to have it over text. Text is not the time to ask the status of your relationship. It is not the time to ask, so what are we? So where's this going? So do you really like me? Do you really love me? Do you really care about me? Do you really see a future here? Texting is not the time to have this conversation. First, a lot can get lost in translation, and you may end up looking needy or sounding needy, even if that's not the place that you're coming from. Maybe you genuinely want to know if you and him are on the same page, and that's fine. It's fine to bring up where the relationship is going. I mean, in general, you should probably avoid that because if you and him are on the same page, then most likely it will be clear and obvious to both of you. You won't have to back him into a corner and force him into having this relationship conversation. But if you must, that's fine. But this is a conversation that needs to be had when you are clear-headed, i.e. not drunk, when you are not in an overly emotional headspace where you can just talk openly, honestly. And it is not a conversation to be had over text. So please try to avoid that. Texting should be used for flirting, sharing information, and making plans. That's pretty much the extent of it, with some extras here and there. Having deep relationship conversations is not what texting is for. All texting really is a means to get the other person to be excited to spend more time with you. It's a means to build up the anticipation to hang out again in person. You being obsessive about the relationship and pressuring him is not what's gonna get him excited about seeing you again. Number 6, the jealous text. Jealousy is just never a good look. It's not a good look in person. It is not a good look over text. So fine, maybe you caught him liking some hot girls' pictures on Instagram. Maybe you caught him flirting in the comment section. Maybe a friend of yours told you that she saw him talking to some other girl. Don't confront him about this over text with a, so who is that blonde chick that you were, talking to on Instagram? Oh, Kelsey saw you talking to some brunette at the park today. What's the deal there? This just makes you sound a little bit nuts, a little bit crazy, a little bit possessive. Look, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be upset about these things, but don't call him out over text. Don't unleash your jealous side via text. Try not to unleash it at all. I mean, it's much better to come from a place of confidence and strength than it is from a place of just being a mess and falling apart and just being angry and attacking him. Instead of just flying off the handle with the whole jealousy thing, and if you guys want me to make a video on how to overcome being jealous, let me know in the comment section. It's something I've considered doing. I'm just wondering if there is a want for it and need for it. So if that's something you want me to talk about, let me know in the comment section. When something like that comes up, you find out he's talking to another girl or whatever the case may be, first get to what's at the heart of it. What is at the heart of what's really bothering you here? Take a step back and decide how you want to deal with it. Are you worried that he's losing interest? Are you worried that he's cheating on you? Are you worried that you're not good enough for him and you're scared that some other girl is going to steal him away from you because you're not even worthy of him to begin with? Get to the heart of what's really bothering you and then decide how you want to deal with it, and deal with it in person, not over text. Number 7, the never letting you go text. No, I'm not talking about the text where you say, I love you, I'm never letting you go, although please avoid that as well. I'm talking about you never ending the texting conversation. Like every conversation comes to a natural endpoint, but you don't want it to end. So you just kind of keep going with it and just keep following up with another question, to the extent that he can't just put his phone down and do something else. Guys do not want to be texting all day long. Most guys hate texting. They only do it because they have to, because you want to do it, because that's part of winning you over. That's part of courting you. Most guys don't like this. Most guys cannot flow as easily as women can. So that means if he's at work, then his head is at work. He's not able to flow in and out of what he's doing and text you back, go back to his job, text you back, go back to his job. Women can do this easily because most women are just very good at multitasking. We're more wired to be multitaskers than men are. Men are single focused and goal oriented. This goes back to, caveman days. It goes back to basic biology. Men were the hunters. If a hunter was getting distracted when he was hunting his prey, he could get eaten by a lion. Whereas women were the caretakers. They were juggling so many things all at once. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, men don't like texting all day. So when a conversation comes to a natural end, it's okay to just let it end. You don't have to just keep going and keep going. You want to leave that room for him to be excited to see you. Like I mentioned earlier, texting is a means of building that anticipation and excitement to see each other in person. And you can't do that if you're just kind of always in his ear over text message. It's also just important to leave him wanting more. And he can't want more when you're just always there and giving him more and keeping the conversation going and just like going and going and going. You also just want to leave some space for him to come to you. It's just a natural way that men become interested and invested in a woman. It's when he has the space to pursue you. So if you're doing all that work in the texting conversations, then he's not doing it. And he needs that space to pursue you in order to come to really like you and care for you. Number 8, the stalker text. Okay, so in this digital age, we all have access to everyone's everything. So even if a guy doesn't tell you what he's up to, you can just go on his social media accounts and you know exactly what he's doing. I think though, unless he tells you in person, in text, whatever, what he's up to, I wouldn't bring it up. Like I wouldn't bring up like, oh, so it looked like you had a really fun day at the beach with your guy friends, because it just kind of makes you sound a little creepy. Fine, everyone stalks each other on social media, but you don't need to talk about it, What's even worse is if you dig up information on him and then come after him with it if you find a contradiction. For example, if you say something to him like, I thought that you were going to the gym, but I see that you're just hanging out with your friends, and like lash out at him. Okay, maybe he was gonna go to the gym, but then something else came up. You kind of look crazy when you're using the information that he gives you and comparing it to what you see on social media. It's just like not a very good look. What do you think about these texts? Have you ever been guilty of sending any of them? I know that I certainly have. I've definitely sent more than a few. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Let me know your stories. I love hearing from you guys. For more relationship advice, check out anumo.com. Subscribe to our newsletter, anumo.com/subscribe. Follow me on Instagram @anumode, and I will see you guys in the next video.